Ladies and gentlemen, imagine standing at the edge of a vast desert, your pockets empty, your heart heavy with worry, and the horizon stretching endlessly before you. You are desperate for relief, searching for a source of sustenance that seems just out of reach. In those moments, the mind races, doubt creeps in, and fear of uncertainty threatens to take hold. Yet, even in such moments of apparent scarcity, Allah's mercy and wisdom are at work. He is never unaware of your need. The Quran reminds us, and whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out and provide for him from where he does not expect. Surah At-Talaq 2. This promise is not abstract. It is alive, tangible, and accessible to every believer who turns to Him sincerely. There are 6 powerful names of Allah that, when invoked with true faith, can open the channels of rizq that seem impossible to reach. These names carry attributes of mercy, generosity, and sustenance, and they are tools for transforming desperation into hope. The first step is to understand why these names hold such power. Each name of Allah reflects an aspect of His infinite attributes. When you call upon Him through these names, you are not just reciting words, you are connecting your heart directly to His divine qualities. Imagine the ocean's waves relentlessly reaching the shore. Each recitation is like a droplet creating ripples that eventually merge into the vast ocean of Allah's mercy. By calling upon Al-Razaq, the provider, you acknowledge that He is the ultimate source of sustenance, and that all worldly wealth is but a manifestation of His will. This understanding shifts the heart from anxiety to surrender, from desperation to hope, and opens the believer to receive blessings in ways that are often subtle and unexpected. Many times, provision is blocked not by lack of divine generosity, but by the clutter of worry, doubt, or disobedience in our lives. A person may work tirelessly, plan meticulously, and exhaust every worldly avenue, yet still feel a lack. This is because true rizq flows only when the heart is aligned with Allah's guidance. The Quran teaches, and seek help through patience and prayer, and indeed it is difficult except for the humbly submissive. Surah Al-Baqarah 45. Reliance upon these names is not a shortcut to wealth, it is a pathway to aligning your heart, intentions and actions with divine wisdom. When invoked consistently with focus and humility, they clear spiritual obstacles and open avenues for sustenance that were previously invisible. Consider the countless stories of ordinary believers who faced impossible circumstances yet witnessed miraculous provision. A single mother struggling to provide for her children receives unexpected financial help from a source she had never anticipated. A young man burdened with debt finds a job opportunity perfectly suited to his skills appearing seemingly out of nowhere. These moments are not coincidences, they are signs of Allah's perfect timing and His response to sincere invocation. By calling upon the 6 names with conviction, names that reflect His generosity, mercy and provision, you align yourself with the flow of these blessings. Each recitation is a seed planted in the fertile soil of divine wisdom, and Allah knows exactly when and where to nurture it into fruition. Finally, trust and preparedness are key. Reciting these names is not merely a mechanical exercise, it is a dialogue of the heart with the most merciful. It is paired with patient expectation and active readiness. Imagine waiting for rain in a parched land. The clouds may gather unseen, but your faith guides you to prepare your fields, to position your vessels, and to trust that when the rain falls, you will be ready to receive its abundance. Similarly, by invoking these names, you cultivate a heart attuned to recognizing opportunities, guidance, and provision as they arrive. The combination of sincere invocation, unwavering trust, and preparedness creates a spiritual magnet, drawing rizq to you in ways that inspire hope, gratitude, and absolute reliance on Allah's plan. Through these 6 names of Allah, the doors of provision, blessing, and sustenance are unlocked for those who call upon Him with sincerity. The process requires faith, focus, and the readiness to act upon the opportunities He sends, for His timing is perfect and His wisdom infinite. In these moments of connection, worry transforms into hope, scarcity into abundance, and despair into unwavering trust. Allah's mercy is always closer than we imagine, and He responds to every sincere call with a generosity that is beyond human comprehension. The first step in understanding the profound power of Allah's names in relation to rizq, or sustenance, is to recognize that they are not merely words to be recited, they are keys that unlock divine attributes within the heart, and align a believer with the flow of blessings from Allah. Each name of Allah carries a meaning, a vibration, and a wisdom that reflects an aspect of His infinite nature. When a believer calls upon Al-Razaq, the provider for example, they are not simply asking for money or material wealth. They are acknowledging that Allah is the ultimate source of sustenance, that all provision originates from Him, and that any effort or action in this world is complemented and amplified by His will. This understanding transforms the act of invocation from a superficial ritual into a deep conscious connection, where the heart, mind, and tongue are synchronized in the acknowledgement of divine generosity. Many people live in a state of worry about their provision because they rely solely on worldly means, forgetting that true sustenance is ultimately under the control of Allah. When the heart recognizes this truth, a profound shift occurs, anxiety begins to dissolve, hope is restored, and the believer opens themselves to receive in ways they could never have imagined. It is essential to understand that invoking Allah's names is not simply about recitation, it is about intention and consciousness. A person may repeat a name mechanically, yet without focus, the connection remains superficial, and the heart does not engage with the divine attribute being called upon. Imagine a thirsty traveler lost in a desert, repeatedly dipping their hand into a small puddle, unaware of the river flowing nearby. The recitation must be intentional, deliberate, and filled with faith, because it is the quality of attention and sincerity that activates the spiritual potency of the name. Al-Razaq teaches that sustenance is abundant and accessible, but to recognize it, the believer must attune their heart to the infinite generosity of Allah, cultivating both trust and awareness. This alignment allows provision to manifest not only through expected channels, like income or work, but also through unexpected doors, sudden opportunities, timely assistance from others, and even moments of clarity that guide one toward abundance. Another critical aspect of understanding these names is realizing that they operate in harmony with the believer's heart and actions. The Quran reminds us, indeed Allah is the provider, owner of strength and firm in might, Surah Ad-Dariyat 58. The knowledge of Allah as the ultimate provider should inspire action, not inaction. A person who trusts in Al-Razaq does not sit idle waiting for blessings to fall from the sky. They act in alignment with their goals, using the means available while maintaining awareness that Allah is the one who multiplies and perfects their efforts. This balance between reliance on Allah and proactive effort is crucial. It is the interplay between spiritual invocation and worldly diligence that opens the heart to receive the full scope of divine provision. Those who understand this principle often find that even small, sincere steps toward their goal are met with exponential support from unseen sources. Reflecting on real-life examples helps to illuminate this concept. Consider a student who is struggling financially yet makes it a point to call upon Al-Razaq with daily sincerity, asking Allah for guidance, sustenance, and opportunities to prosper. Alongside their prayers, they actively seek scholarships, part-time work, or support from their community. Over time, they notice small but significant shifts. A mentor reaches out unexpectedly, an opportunity arises that perfectly suits their needs, or a timely gift appears just when they require it. These occurrences are not coincidences, they are manifestations of the alignment between sincere invocation, awareness, and trust in Allah's providence. Each instance reinforces the believer's understanding that Allah's names are alive, responsive, and intimately connected to the heart that calls upon them. Finally, the power of Allah's names lies in their ability to transform the believer's mindset and heart. When you call upon Al-Razaq or any of the other names related to sustenance, you are reminded that your provision is not limited by circumstance, scarcity, or human effort alone. You are reminded that Allah's mercy and generosity are infinite, and that your need is never beyond His capacity to provide. This realization nurtures hope, patience, and resilience. It instills a sense of surrender that does not signify weakness but demonstrates the highest form of strength. A heart in complete trust, ready to receive the blessings that Allah sends in His perfect wisdom and timing. The understanding of these names is therefore not just spiritual knowledge, it is the foundation upon which a believer builds a life of faith, abundance, and unwavering reliance on the one who provides for all creation. The second step in harnessing the power of Allah's names for provision is to recognize the obstacles that often block our rizq and to understand how complete reliance on Allah can remove these barriers. Many people experience periods of struggle, worry, and scarcity, not because Allah withholds His blessings, but because internal and external conditions create blockages that prevent the natural flow of sustenance. These obstacles may appear in the form of fear, doubt, impatience, or neglect of spiritual responsibility. They may also be created by distractions, mismanagement, or attachment to material means alone. Understanding these barriers is crucial because it allows a believer to address them with intention, prayer, and conscious surrender, clearing the path for the divine provision that Allah promises. Fear and doubt are among the most powerful blockers. When a person worries excessively about their financial situation or doubts Allah's ability to provide, they are essentially signaling a lack of trust. This fear generates tension, negativity, and resistance in the heart, which can cloud the spiritual channels through which rizq flows. Imagine a vessel trying to receive water from a stream. If the vessel is clogged with debris or covered with dirt, the water cannot enter freely. Similarly, the heart weighed down by fear, anxiety, or distrust cannot fully receive the sustenance Allah has prepared. The Quran reminds us, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Surah At-Talaq 3. Reliance is not passive. It requires active surrender, the clearing of mental and emotional clutter, and the cultivation of trust that Allah's provision is certain, even if its timing is unknown. Attachment to worldly methods without spiritual alignment is another common obstacle. While taking action and using available means is important, when a person relies solely on human effort and neglects the spiritual connection with Allah, they may experience frustration and delayed outcomes. A person may exhaust themselves in constant worry, striving or planning, yet still feel insufficiently provided for. This is because the spiritual dimension, the recognition of Allah as the ultimate source and sustainer, is neglected. True provision flows when human effort is combined with reliance on Allah and the conscious invocation of His names. For example, invoking Al-Razaq while diligently working, planning and preparing allows both the spiritual and physical dimensions to align, creating a channel through which sustenance can manifest effectively. Neglect of prayer, gratitude and remembrance can also block rizq. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes the connection between obedience, remembrance, and divine provision. So remember me, I will remember you, and be grateful to me, and do not deny me. Surah Al-Baqarah 152. When the heart forgets Allah, or fails to express gratitude, it closes itself off to the flow of blessings. Gratitude softens the heart, clears negativity, and opens awareness to the ways Allah provides. Prayer, both general and specific, strengthens the believer's connection with the divine, aligning intentions, actions and energy with the attributes of Allah. Regular invocation of the names of Allah, especially those related to sustenance, removes spiritual resistance and primes the heart to receive. Life circumstances themselves can also appear as obstacles. Unexpected debts, societal pressures, or economic challenges may seem like barriers, yet they are often part of the divine test or preparation for greater provision. These external conditions are intertwined with internal readiness. When the heart is aligned, these challenges become opportunities for reliance, patience, and growth. Stories of believers throughout history illustrate that obstacles are not permanent blocks. They are tests and lessons that, when approached with faith and reliance, result in breakthroughs. For instance, a merchant in financial distress who turns to Al-Razaq with sincere intention, paired with careful planning, often finds that the obstacle transforms into a stepping stone. A previously unseen path to abundance opens, friends and allies appear at the right time, or unexpected opportunities emerge. Clearing these obstacles requires a combination of awareness, spiritual practice, and trust. Awareness allows a person to identify fear, doubt, and distraction. Spiritual practice, including prayer, invocation of Allah's names, and gratitude, purifies the heart and aligns it with divine attributes. Trust and surrender allow the believer to step out of tension and impatience, creating space for Allah to act. When these blockages are removed, the believer's energy becomes coherent, their intentions resonate clearly, and the path for rizq opens naturally. Understanding and addressing obstacles is therefore not just a practical step, it is a spiritual discipline that prepares the heart to receive the abundant provision that Allah promises to those who call upon Him sincerely, align their hearts with His guidance, and rely fully on His wisdom. The third step in unlocking the blessings of Allah's names for urgent provision is the importance of intention, consistency, and heartfelt devotion when invoking these names. While understanding the names and clearing obstacles are crucial, the energy behind invocation is what determines whether the supplication resonates deeply within the heart and reaches the divine presence. Intention is the foundation. It is the sincerity that transforms mere words into a powerful spiritual tool. A person may recite a name hundreds of times, yet if the heart is distracted, insincere, or motivated by ego rather than true need and trust, the effect is minimal. Intention channels the energy of the heart into alignment with Allah's attributes, creating a coherent vibration that the universe responds to. This is why the Quran emphasizes, "Indeed, those who fear Allah, He will make for them a way out, and provide for them from where they do not expect." Surah At-Talaq 2. Fear of Allah here is not merely terror, but awe, reverence, and sincere devotion, an intention that recognizes the greatness of the Creator and the human need for His sustenance. Consistency is the next critical element. Many people invoke Allah's names only sporadically, during moments of crisis or immediate need. While sincere invocation in urgent times is valuable, the spiritual momentum builds most powerfully when practice is consistent. Consistency strengthens the connection between the heart and the divine attribute being called upon. It trains the soul to resonate at the frequency of reliance, patience, and surrender. I recall a story of a woman struggling to provide for her family. She began invoking the name Al-Razaq daily, not just in moments of urgency, but as a regular part of her morning and evening remembrance. At first, the change was subtle, almost imperceptible. Over weeks, however, she began noticing small shifts, guidance in decision-making, unexpected assistance from friends, and opportunities that aligned perfectly with her needs. The consistency of her devotion created a ripple effect, expanding the channels through which Allah's provision could flow. Heartfelt devotion is the final, and perhaps most powerful, component. The heart must engage fully in the invocation, connecting emotion with intention. Without heartfelt engagement, invocation remains mechanical, lacking the vibrational resonance that draws divine response. True devotion is characterized by humility, recognition of one's dependence on Allah, and a longing for His mercy. When a believer approaches invocation with deep emotion, the effect is transformative. I remember feeling moments of overwhelming need during a period of financial strain. In those moments, I invoked the names of Allah, with tears, with gratitude for what I already had, and with a profound trust that He would provide. The sense of surrender and emotional alignment created an inner peace that allowed clarity, guidance, and eventual provision to manifest. Heartfelt devotion turns the act of recitation into a living dialogue with Allah, where every word, breath, and intention vibrates in harmony with His mercy and generosity. The combination of intention, consistency, and devotion also creates a spiritual rhythm that opens the believer to recognize signs of provision. The Quran repeatedly mentions the importance of remembrance and sustained connection with Allah. O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Surah Al-Baqarah 150. Patience is intertwined with consistency, and prayer is magnified by the purity of intention and devotion. When a person engages in this practice regularly, they become more attuned to subtle guidance, to the synchronicities and opportunities that signal Allah's response. What once may have seemed like random events or coincidences begin to reveal themselves as part of a divine orchestration, a reflection of the coherence between heart, intention, and the act of invocation. This approach also reinforces trust and surrender. By cultivating a pattern of deliberate, consistent, and heartfelt invocation, the believer trains themselves to rely fully on Allah's timing and wisdom. The urgency for provision is met not only through the act of calling upon the names, but also through the readiness of the heart to receive blessing when they manifest, often in unexpected and miraculous ways. Real-life examples abound of people who have experienced sudden relief and opportunity after sustained, sincere invocation, demonstrating that intention, consistency, and devotion are not abstract concepts, but actionable practices that create a tangible bridge between the believer's need and Allah's provision. Incorporating these three elements into daily spiritual practice transforms invocation from a reactive request into a proactive, conscious engagement with divine sustenance. It aligns the heart, mind, and spirit with the attributes of Allah, allowing provision to flow not only in material forms, but also through guidance, opportunities, and connections that might otherwise remain hidden. Intention, consistency, and heartfelt devotion are therefore the pillars that ensure the invocation of Allah's names is not only heard, but also received and manifested in ways that nurture hope, strengthen faith, and open the believer to the boundless generosity of their Creator. The fourth step in invoking the 6 names of Allah for urgent provision, and to recognize the real synchronicities and Quranic reminders that demonstrate Allah's timely response to sincere supplication. Often, believers may feel their prayers go unanswered because they expect results to appear immediately or in ways they can easily perceive. The universe, however, operates on divine wisdom and timing, and provision often manifests subtly through circumstances, people, or insight that initially appear coincidental. These signs are not random, they are part of Allah's perfect orchestration, reflecting both His mercy and His intimate awareness of our needs. Understanding this allows the believer to cultivate patience, gratitude, and heightened awareness, creating a heart attuned to recognizing divine responses and an inner confidence that sustenance is on its way. One of the most profound forms of guidance is through synchronicity. Synchronicity occurs when multiple seemingly unrelated events converge perfectly to provide clarity, direction, or support. For example, a person seeking a financial opportunity may unexpectedly encounter a mentor who offered guidance, discover a helpful article, or receive a timely message from a friend. On their own, these events might seem ordinary, but when viewed as part of a larger pattern, they reveal the invisible hand of Allah, arranging circumstances to respond to sincere invocation. I recall a period of financial uncertainty when every plan seemed blocked. Yet small, subtle events, a phone call from someone I had not spoken to in months, an email with unexpected advice, a casual conversation in the marketplace, combined to provide a clear path forward. These signs became proof that my prayers were being acknowledged, that my invocation of Allah's names was resonating, and that provision was coming in a way beyond my immediate understanding. The Quran also provides clear reminders of Allah's mercy and responsiveness. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says, "And when my servants ask you concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the invocation of the supplicant when he calls upon me." 186. This verse emphasizes not only the nearness of Allah, but also the certainty of His response. Believers are encouraged to call upon Him with sincerity, trust, and humility, knowing that no request goes unheard. Recognizing this promise in daily life transforms the perception of waiting or delay from frustration into preparation. The believer becomes patient, attentive, and hopeful, recognizing that responses may come in forms, and at times that are divinely orchestrated, rather than immediately visible. Intuition and inner guidance are also key indicators of divine response. Often the heart perceives subtle nudges, insights, or feelings of clarity that guide decision-making and action. These internal responses are often more reliable than external signs because they emerge from a direct connection with the divine. A believer who consistently invokes Allah's names may find themselves suddenly drawn to the right opportunity, meeting the right person, or discovering the right resource, often in moments that feel almost miraculous. These occurrences are reminders that Allah's provision is comprehensive, encompassing not just financial relief but guidance, support, and pathways that lead to long-term stability and fulfillment. Real-life examples further illustrate the power of recognizing signs. A student struggling with tuition may suddenly find an unexpected scholarship opportunity. A person in debt may receive a timely job offer, or a family facing hardship may receive help from a source they could not have anticipated. These manifestations, whether large or small, are the visible proof of Allah's mercy, demonstrating that sincere invocation combined with faith and alignment can produce tangible results. Each sign reinforces trust, deepens reliance on Allah, and strengthens the habit of mindful, intentional supplication. Recognizing these signs requires awareness and attentiveness. The believer must learn to observe, reflect, and connect experiences with intention. Opportunities, insights, and guidance often appear subtly, requiring mindfulness and sensitivity to the ways Allah communicates. Developing this awareness enhances faith, strengthens the heart, and encourages consistency in invocation. It also cultivates gratitude, which itself is a channel for more provision, as the Quran reminds us that grateful hearts are recipients of increased blessings. By noticing these signs, believers are reassured that their calls are heard, and that the universe, guided by Allah's perfect wisdom, is responding in alignment with their needs and the timing of divine plan. Ultimately, recognizing signs, synchronicities, and Quranic reminders transforms the experience of seeking sustenance from anxiety and uncertainty into one of hope, attentiveness, and joy. The believer learns to see Allah's hand at work in every circumstance, to interpret life events as reflections of divine response, and to trust that every act of sincere invocation carries the potential for provision and guidance beyond imagination. This awareness not only strengthens faith, but also prepares the heart to receive blessings fully when they manifest, allowing the believer to witness firsthand the mercy, generosity, and perfect timing of Allah. The fifth and final step in fully embracing the transformative power of Allah's names for urgent provision is to cultivate trust, patience, and readiness to receive the blessings that He sends. Even after understanding the names, clearing obstacles, invoking them with sincere intention, and recognizing the subtle signs of divine response, the believer's heart must be prepared to receive. Trust in Allah is the foundation of this readiness, for it allows the heart to surrender completely, to release anxiety, and to acknowledge that He knows what is best, when it is best, and in what form it will arrive. True trust is not passive resignation. It is active reliance combined with conscious openness to the infinite wisdom of Allah. It is the understanding that the provision you seek may come in ways that surpass your expectations, through channels you might never have imagined. At the moment most suited to your growth and benefit, patience is inseparable from trust. Many people falter not because Allah withholds blessings, but because they expect immediate results or visible manifestations and become all anxious when these do not appear. The Quran reminds us, indeed, Allah is with those who are patient. Surah Al-Baqarah 153. Patience is more than mere waiting. It is an active state of maintaining faith, continuing sincere invocation, and acting responsibly while trusting in divine timing. It is the practice of holding hope without despair, of acknowledging need without desperation, and of remaining attentive to the subtle signs and opportunities that often precede the fulfillment of prayers. I remember a time when I was seeking guidance and provision during a period of financial and emotional uncertainty. Despite consistent prayer and invocation of the names of Allah, the immediate results were not visible. Yet by exercising patience and maintaining trust, small opportunities began appearing. Unexpected support, timely advice, and new avenues for income. Each occurrence reinforced the understanding that divine provision is often orchestrated in ways that require persistence, awareness, and patience to recognize. Readiness to receive is equally important. Many people pray for sustenance or relief, yet when opportunities arrive, they are unprepared to accept or act upon them. Readiness involves aligning thoughts, actions, and the energy of the request. It is a state of receptivity, where the heart, mind, and actions are coherent and open. Consider a farmer waiting for rain. The farmer not only prays for rain, but also prepares the soil, sets up irrigation, and positions containers to collect water. Similarly, the believer must prepare, through effort, planning, and awareness, so that when Allah's blessings arrive, they are able to fully engage with them. The names of Allah, when invoked with consistency and devotion, create the spiritual conditions for readiness, making the heart sensitive to guidance, insight, and opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. Trust, patience, and readiness together create a powerful spiritual resonance. Trust removes fear and doubt, allowing the heart to remain calm and focused. Patience sustains the believer through periods of apparent delay or challenge, maintaining faith in divine timing. Readiness ensures that when provision arrives, whether in expected or unexpected forms, it is recognized, embraced, and utilized effectively. I have witnessed numerous examples where individuals who maintained trust and patience, even amid extreme difficulty, suddenly received exactly what they needed. A struggling entrepreneur found an investor who appeared precisely when required. A student burdened with tuition debt received a scholarship opportunity at the perfect moment. These experiences demonstrate that Allah's response is not limited to conventional expectation. It often comes in ways that are tailored to the believer's readiness and capacity to benefit fully.